All right. So welcome. I'm glad you're here in this webinar titled Fueling Success, the Power of Motivation and Persistence. Okay. I'm Mrs. Patchke. I'm also known as Professor Patchke. I am the ESL specialist at the Ally Center at LBC, and I'm also an adjunct faculty member. So before we jump in, let me share my screen. We'll get started. Before we jump in, I just want to take a moment to recognize you as adult learners, okay? As adult learners, I know how challenging it can be to manage multiple roles. You're balancing a lot. You're balancing work, moving, some of you, transitioning jobs, family, personal responsibilities, and now college, right? Choosing to continue your education is not an easy task, okay? But the fact that you're here today shows commitment and, well, you're motivated. You're ready to get started. So I'm glad you're here. Let's start with a quick icebreaker. In the chat, in the Zoom chat, I'd like you to answer this question. What motivated you to return to school? In the chat, just one word or a simple phrase. Maybe it's a new career path, personal growth, setting example for your kids, or something else. What motivated you to return to school? Okay, yeah, new career path, I see. I'll give a few more seconds. All right, thank you for sharing that. Do you notice that that answer is both personal and it's very powerful, right? So this is your why. This is your why. And today we're actually going to explore how to tap into that motivation, that why, how to build persistence and overcome the very unique challenges of your journey, because you will have them, right? So let's take a moment and talk about motivation. There are two types of motivation. There is intrinsic motivation, which is typically fueled by internal reasons like wanting to grow, wanting to learn, wanting to challenge yourself. It's all internal. Extrinsic motivation is when outside factors drive you, such as career advancement, financial stability, recognition. That's extrinsic motivation. Most adult learners are going to draw energy from both, and that's completely normal. But motivation isn't a steady flame. It tends to burn out at times. It tends to rise and fall again, okay? Some days you are going to feel fired up, and other days, not so much. Motivation is, we can't count on it, okay? That's where persistence, or in other words, discipline, comes in and is a vital role. And you are going to need persistence in your journey throughout college. You have the motivation, now you need the persistence. So let's do another reflection piece here. I want to take a second now. Think back to a time when you felt really motivated about something. Could be school, work, a personal project. Think back to a time when your motivation was very high. What was happening around you and what fueled that energy? So I'll give you about 30 seconds to think of a response, and then you can unmute and share. All right, and feel free to share whenever you're ready. Or you can write it in the chat, it's up to you. I want to give you as much speaking time as possible.
Sure. I'm Tom, and the last time my motivation was really high is when we were leading young adults in ministry in Hawaii.
Okay.
And what fueled was just the desire and drive to know Jesus more.
Yeah, exactly. So based on that response, the key idea there is motivation was the spark, right? But you had to incorporate various strategies to keep it burning. And the strategy was, okay, the goal was to learn more about Jesus, and you had to incorporate more strategies to keep that motivation alive. Okay, so let's talk about or name some of the challenges for you as an adult learner. You are going to frequently face these. Okay, if we can name them, we can then overcome them. All right, so we need to talk about these. All right, balancing multiple roles, your work, your caregiving, okay, your school, you're balancing it all. That's one of the main challenges of adult learners. The next one is going to be facing self-doubt. Okay, you're going to doubt whether you belong in college in the stage of life. Am I too old for this? Should I go back? Right? I don't think I'm smart enough to learn at this age. Facing self-doubt is very common. It is normal, right? Next would be time pressures or financial pressures. This is going to be a lot of burdens on you and your spouse, okay, if you have one. Next are the academic skills. You are going to feel rusty with your academic skills because you've been out of school for so long. And that's why it's important to attend these workshops and to schedule weekly meetings if you can with the Ally Center, right? The next common challenge for adult learners is going to be emotional and mental fatigue, stress, burnout. If you do not do well with time management, stress management, you will become burnout by week 2, easily. Okay? Okay, do any of these sound familiar? If these sound familiar, you're not alone. Guess what? I deal with these as well. So none of these challenges mean that you're failing, okay? They just mean that you're in the process of learning and stretching your new skills. That's what it means, okay? Challenges are not stop signs. These are actually just signals that you need to incorporate persistence. That's what you need, okay? Again, obstacles at the bottom. I put this here again. I want to reiterate it. Obstacles do not mean failure, okay? They're just stepping stones that require persistent strategies. That's it, right? So let's move on to some practical ways to keep your motivation alive. Because at times it will burn out. It will reduce. And then that's when you will need persistence and discipline. So on this next slide, I have plenty of practical ways for you. Again, at the end of this workshop, I will send out the recording. I'll send out this PowerPoint so that you have it as well. All right. Here are some practical tips that you can utilize right away. The first is goal mapping. Okay, this is when you break down your long-term goals into smaller, achievable tasks. For example, almost all of my students will say, my goal is to finish my degree. That's a great goal. I love it. But how will you get there? Because I can tell you, you're going to be in college if you go part-time 4 or 5 years. I don't know. Some of my students have been here 5, 6 years because they're going part-time. So instead of saying, okay, my goal is to finish my degree, how can you goal map that? Start with this week's assignments, okay? Your course is now, it's 10 days prior, so you have access to view it and read what's happening in the course, that you cannot do anything. So start this week. Prepare yourself, do what you can, right? Then celebrate all those micro wins, those small wins, okay? If your goal, a small goal, is to submit every assignment on time, and you incorporate specific techniques to do so, celebrate each week that you did not submit a late assignment. That's a micro win. The next practical tip is to connect with your why. We did this right in the beginning of this workshop. Write your personal reasons for being here on a sticky note, on your phone somewhere, put it as your wallpaper, okay? If you're into creating vision boards, whatever you need to do, keep your why, your purpose visible, okay? Because it will then keep your energy going strong, all right? Just like when you're feeling down, typically people will have pictures of their loved ones or their pets, something right there, or a Bible verse right there to meditate on. Same with your why, connect with your why. The next practical tip is accountability and support systems. Please, please, please do not do this journey alone. We will lose you. As a professor, we will lose you if you do this alone. Connect with classmates, mentors, the Ally Center, family members. You need someone to cheer you on. You also need someone who's been through this as well. Having just someone say, hey, how are your assignments going? That's going to make a huge difference, okay? Tip number 4 is routine and structure. You need to treat your study time like a non-negotiable appointment, right? Roughly per course, you need about 15, 17 hours a week, right? You must schedule in the structure, just like you do with a doctor appointment, right? Scheduled in. Even if it's just 20 minutes every day, maybe the same time. That's consistency that builds momentum. And the last tip here is going to be self-care. This is, I know it's last, I think it should be number 1, actually. I might switch that down the road, but self-care acts as fuel. I know, we're all adults. You hear it all the time. Rest, nutrition, blah, 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 okay? This is a crucial part of your success. It's learning to say no. It's setting boundaries. And it's learning how to incorporate certain strategies that work well for you in your life. So rest, nutrition, movement, these are all part of your success, right? Just like you wouldn't want your car to run on empty, okay? You don't want that. Your mind and your body are the same. Don't let it run on empty, all right? So let's move on here. Let's talk about building persistence through challenges, okay? Persistence. Definition just means choosing to continue even when motivation feels low. Actually, I want to go back and talk about these briefly. I know I got ahead. I want to do a brief reflection that I did not put on the slides because it just came to my mind. I want to do a reflection on these strategies here. Which strategies feel most doable right now in your life? Which ones, right? Think about which strategy feels most doable for you right now and just jot it down if you can. Okay, just jot it down. You don't even need to tell me. Because this one step of writing it down is going to anchor your motivation for this week. All right, so if you can, jot down your strategy, and then we'll go back and shift to persistence. We'll give about 30 seconds. All right. All right, let's talk about a few tools to build persistence through challenges, right? Here's some tools for you. 3 big tools is going to be, the first one is called resilience reframing. Okay, this is also, it goes along with mindset as well. It's changing the I cannot do this to I can't do this yet. Adding the word yet tells your brain something. It basically says, more than likely, you can get this done. You're reframing the negativity to the positivity. Adding this one word yet is going to open the door for growth, okay? It's important to learn how to reframe setbacks as learning opportunities. You will have a lot of setbacks in your courses, okay? You might come to college with expectations. Either I'm a really great writer or I'm a horrible writer, okay? Every assignment that you do, you will get tons of feedback from the professor. I want you to reframe maybe the positive or the negative feedback as learning opportunities, all right? What are these obstacles going to teach you? What are they going to teach me, right? Next is called anchor habits. These are small, repeatable actions that keep school in the rhythm of daily life, meaning after class, spend 10 minutes, if you have the time, after class, spend 10 minutes, jot down some additional notes, okay? If you can create small, repeatable patterns or actions, okay, every day or each week, These habits are going to carry forward and begin motivation. Roughly about 60 to 90 days, you'll have a habit, okay? You might say every night after dinner, before I go to my next task of maybe doing laundry or dishes, I'm spending 10 minutes and I'm doing this, all right? The next tool for persistence is problem-solving mindset. I want you to break your obstacles into manageable parts and then brainstorm solutions. So when an obstacle shows up, break it into smaller parts, break it down so that it's manageable, right? And then think about the solutions instead of it letting it stop you, all right? Many times we say, oh, this is such a large obstacle. An obstacle could be, I have a 3-page paper due on Friday night. What do I do? Okay, let's break it down. Maybe start a mind map, get your outline done, get your thesis statement done, break it down. All right. All right, let's do a quick scenario together. So imagine this. You just worked a 10-hour day. You're tired and you have an assignment due tomorrow. Your motivation is at 0. It's gone. What could persistence look like here? What strategies could you use? If your motivation is absolutely gone, what could you do? Let's think about this. What could you possibly do? There could be many different situations here, many different scenarios. Maybe you've got family, kids, you still have to help make dinner. What could you do? You can write it in the chat and I'll check it. Yep, that's a good one. Yeah, stop and pray. Yeah, simple as that, right? All right, God, what do I do now? All right, give me peace right now before I go to my next step. Yep. All right, exactly. So persistence is about pushing forward just enough, even if it's not perfect. So even just simple as stopping and praying right there. God, I'm tired. I'm exhausted, but I need to get this done. I need the energy to get through like 30 more minutes to get this assignment done, whatever that looks like, right? All right, let's tie everything together. I made this a very short workshop tonight. I kept it 30 minutes long instead of an hour, which is great. All right, more time for you. Let's tie it all together. First off is fuel. Your fuel is motivation. You need to know your why. Number 2 is the engine. That's the persistence. You need to keep moving even when motivation dips. It's a choice, okay? Even on the tough days. I know it becomes very challenging, but it's a choice. And number 3, that's the result, which that's going to be the destination or your success, okay? Your degree is not going to be built on a single burst of energy, like one motivator, okay? It's going to be built on many small steps over time, all right? These are going to be very thorough, consistent steps, right? All right, let's do one last reflection, okay? What is one persistent strategy that you will commit to using this week? Take 2 minutes. You can write things down, make something realistic that you'll actually do this week, especially if you're starting classes next Monday. What is one persistent strategy that you're going to commit to this week? Okay. It could be time blocking. You maybe might say, I'm going to take 2 30-minute sessions, one on Tuesday, one on Thursday, 30-minute sessions, and I'm just going to review the syllabus, check the Zoom information. I'm going to prep for that week with my calendar. That could be one. Next could be, you can reach out to that professor if he or she has placed an announcement in the class, okay? Ask for feedback, say, hey, I'm so-and-so, I'm in your class, I'm ready to learn. We love it, by the way. Though it rarely happens. It rarely happens. Most students actually don't check in with the professor. And when they do, I'm like, wow, you're so eager to learn. This is awesome. And then once you get started in the course, another persistent strategy could be just setting up a check-in time with another classmate. More than likely, you will make a friend. It's wonderful. All right. So some persistence strategies that you will commit to. Think about it, keep it in the back of your mind. I hope you will commit to it this week, because this type of commitment is what you need to actually step into the next part of your progress. All right. So as we wrap up, I want to remind you, okay, the fact that you're here proves that you already have the motivation. Persistence is there. Okay, we're going to get to that. I'll do another workshop on more about persistence. But again, as adult learners, your journey is very unique. It's very different than anyone else. And it's very important to remember your why. Why has God called you back to college? Why has he called you to LBC? Okay, so lean on your why. Okay, persistence and a whole lot of prayer is going to carry you through. Right, so I want to let you know you can do this. You don't have to do it alone. You should be able to reach out to your peers, professors, and the Ally Center, which is what I've put here on the screen for you. You have my email here and also the Ally Center email to schedule an appointment. All right, so I appreciate you being here with me today. I know it was nice and short, but guess what? You have just now taken another step forward into fueling your success. All right. Any questions or comments? I'm going to stop sharing briefly and I'm going to stop recording. Any questions or comments?